Ever pondered which Indian states share their wives the most and why? Today, we are about to embark on an intriguing journey across different Indian states, exploring unique cultural practices and societal norms that might surprise you. We'll be delving into the concept of wife sharing, a practice that, while alien to many, is deeply rooted in the traditions of certain regions. So buckle up and open your minds. Prepare to broaden your cultural horizons as we dive into this intriguing subject. Before we delve into specifics, let's understand the concept of wife sharing. Wife sharing, also known as polyandry, is a practice where a woman has more than one husband simultaneously. This practice has been documented in various cultures and societies across the globe, and it's not a recent phenomenon. Instead, it's a tradition that's been prevalent for centuries, often due to socio-economic factors, customs, or gender imbalances. Historically, wife sharing has been observed in societies where resources were scarce. In such environments, having multiple providers in a family unit could mean the difference between survival and hardship. This practice, therefore, was often a pragmatic solution to the pressing issue of resource scarcity. In other societies, wife sharing was a result of traditions or customs. For instance, the fraternal polyandry practiced by the Tibetans and the Toda tribe of India, wherein a woman is married to all the brothers in a family, is rooted in their culture. This tradition is believed to have been established to prevent the division of family property. Gender imbalances have also been a driver of wife sharing. When the number of women in a society significantly outnumbers the men, or vice versa, it can lead to unconventional marital arrangements, including wife sharing. This has been seen in societies affected by war, disease, or other factors leading to a skewed gender ratio. However, it's crucial to remember that the practice of wife sharing isn't universally accepted. Many societies view it as a violation of women's rights and an infringement on their autonomy. While some women in such arrangements may consent to them, others may be coerced or forced into them, raising serious ethical and human rights concerns. In the modern world, wife sharing remains a complex and controversial issue. It's a practice that can be viewed through many lenses: social, economic, cultural, and ethical. It's also a topic that elicits strong reactions, with views on it being deeply divided. Now, with a clear understanding of the concept, we move toward the Indian context. In the vast and diverse cultural landscape of India, where does wife sharing stand? Now that's a question that sparks curiosity. As we traverse the diverse terrains and cultures of India, it's important to note that wife sharing is not a widespread practice across the country. Yes, India is a land of a billion stories, but wife sharing does not feature prominently in the majority of these tales. Still, it's undeniable that this practice does occur in certain pockets of the Indian society. These communities, often isolated and governed by their own unique norms and traditions, have been known to practice wife sharing. This is largely due to a combination of socio-economic factors, deeply ingrained customs, and at times, the harsh realities of demography. In these communities, wife sharing emerges from a complex interplay of factors, often rooted in age-old customs and traditions. Now, it's crucial to remember that these customs are not reflective of the broader Indian society, but are confined to these specific communities. Socio-economic factors, like poverty and lack of education, also play a role in perpetuating this practice. In some of these communities, women are seen as commodities, and wife sharing is a byproduct of this dehumanizing perspective. It's a grim reality that underscores the urgent need for enhanced social awareness and education. Demography too can influence this practice. In some areas, skewed sex ratios have led to a deficit of women, leading to such non-conventional marital arrangements. These are often the result of deeply entrenched patriarchal norms that value male children over female ones, leading to the unfortunate practice of female infanticide and sex-selective abortions. It's evident that wife sharing in India is a complex issue, deeply entwined with the socio-economic and cultural fabric of certain communities. It's a practice that speaks volumes about the need for change and progress in these areas. Now that we have a general idea about the situation in India, let's look at specific states. And remember, as we delve deeper into this topic, it's important to approach it with an open mind, understanding that while these practices may seem alien and unfathomable to us, they are a lived reality for some. Which Indian states report higher instances of wife sharing and why? This question brings us to the crux of our discussion. Let's delve into the factual data. Certain regions in India have been found to engage more commonly in wife sharing. These include but are not limited to areas in the states of Rajasthan, Punjab, and Bihar. It's important, however, to clarify that these practices are not widespread or common across the entirety of these states, but rather they are isolated to specific, often remote, communities. In Rajasthan, for instance, the tradition of wife sharing can be traced back to certain communities where a scarcity of women led to this practice. This scarcity is a result of a skewed gender ratio, the roots of which lie in the deeply entrenched preference for male children and the subsequent female infanticide and female feticide. Moving over to Punjab, we find that the practice is often linked to poverty. In some economically disadvantaged communities, families share wives as a means to reduce the financial burden. Essentially, it becomes an economic strategy for survival, albeit one that raises numerous ethical and human rights concerns. Bihar presents a more complex scenario. Here, a combination of factors such as poverty, illiteracy, and traditional customs contribute to the prevalence of wife sharing. In certain communities, it has been practiced for generations as part of their customs and traditions, making it a deeply entrenched societal norm. However, it's crucial to understand that these are not the only states where instances of wife sharing occur. The practice is reported in several other regions as well, often driven by similar reasons: poverty, illiteracy, gender imbalance, and deep-rooted traditions. These reasons are not isolated, but interlinked. For example, illiteracy often leads to poverty, which in turn might lead to practices like wife sharing as a survival strategy. Similarly, gender imbalance can be a result of illiteracy and poverty, which contribute to practices like female infanticide, subsequently leading to a scarcity of women and practices like wife sharing. The societal structures that allow for these practices are complex and multifaceted. They are deeply rooted, often going back many generations, making them difficult to eradicate. Efforts to address these issues need to be holistic, targeting not just the practice itself, but also the underlying causes such as illiteracy, poverty, gender imbalance, and harmful traditions. In conclusion, the instances of wife sharing in specific Indian states like Rajasthan, Punjab, and Bihar, among others, are influenced by a myriad of factors. These range from economic conditions to societal norms and traditions, all of which play a significant role in the continuation of this practice. As we can see, the reasons behind wife sharing are multifaceted and deeply rooted in societal structures. What impact does wife sharing have on the women involved, and what does the law say about it? The repercussions of wife sharing stretch far beyond the immediate circle involved. The psychological toll on the women can be profound. Feelings of objectification and devaluation often permeate their lives, leading to a severe decrease in self-esteem and self-worth. This, coupled with the social stigma that is often associated with this practice, can lead to isolation and depression. Health risks should not be overlooked either. The lack of autonomy over their bodies can expose these women to various health risks, including sexually transmitted diseases. Turning our attention to the legal aspect, it's crucial to note that wife sharing is not legally recognized or supported in India. In fact, it's considered a violation of human rights. The Indian Penal Code, under Section 498A, protects women against cruelty by her husband or his relatives, which can include such practices. Furthermore, the Indian Constitution, under Article 21, guarantees the right to live with dignity, which is infringed upon by practices like wife sharing. However, the enforcement of these laws remains a challenge due to the deeply embedded cultural norms and the fear of social ostracization, especially in rural areas. In conclusion, while the law clearly doesn't support such practices, the real change comes not just from legal enforcement, but from societal transformation. A shift in societal attitudes and norms is essential to ensure that every woman in India is treated with the dignity and respect she deserves. While the law doesn't support such practices, the real change comes with societal transformation. So, what does this exploration of wife sharing in Indian states reveal? It paints a vivid picture of a practice deeply ingrained in certain societies, influenced by a complex interplay of factors, from socio-economic conditions to cultural norms. We've traversed through the concept of wife sharing, its roots in India, and its prevalence in specific Indian states. We've also touched upon the impact of this practice and the legal aspects surrounding it. The key takeaway: education, gender equality, and societal change are vital in combating harmful practices. As we delve deeper into these subjects, we realize that change isn't quick or easy. It's a gradual process, one that requires persistent effort and understanding. We must strive to educate ourselves and others, promote gender equality, and foster societal change. Remember, understanding cultural practices, even those we disagree with, helps us foster empathy and promote positive change. Thanks for joining us in this exploration.